Is workplace wellness working today? Yes or no? Or maybe perhaps only in certain aspects? Is it really living up to its full potential? And if not, what might it take to perhaps refocus, redefine, redirect, reprioritize our efforts as organizations and people leaders, specifically, I guess, workplace wellness, HR leaders, maybe consultants, executive coaches, managers, and even senior leaders to get it right? These are some of the many critical questions that Marc Michaelson and I will be addressing in a 5-part mini interview series over the coming days and throughout our Executive Wellness Leadership Program that will be commencing on February 26th. So welcome, Marc. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good. And just for some context, Marc is, I guess, a mutual mentor, very much a strategic business partner of the Workplace Wellness Center as of, I guess, this year, and is also going to be a co-facilitator in our Executive Wellness Leadership Program that, we may speak to periodically through this interview series. Okay. So, Marc, for this first segment, I want to start off on a really positive note, which may take a little bit of a turn and twist, but I really want to dig into your perspectives on what you feel workplace wellness, maybe HR and other, as I call them, people leaders have been getting right. And then we'll maybe pivot and explore, some opportunities for enhancement regarding employee and organizational well-being priorities and practices, and maybe even touch on some key pain points, right, of these particular individuals that may inhibit, in some respects, their ability to really effectively do their work. So what would you say now in terms of what are we getting right in this industry?
We're getting so many good things right. We have populations that we're working with that are exhausted
Mm,
on the speed and the intensity and the volume of what needs to get done.
hmm
That's worldwide.
Yeah.
And there's a large team of people within an organization that, is in the benefits space, in the HR space, in the leadership development space, and DE&I and more,
Okay.
who are all working very focused on the targets that they are given
hmm
to enhance and then increase the capacity for a population to be at its best and brightest and to do its best work, and hopefully not feel the burnout, the stress, and the overwhelm that typically comes with the environments we work in. So what are we getting right? We're offering the services, the programs, the support. We're raising awareness. We're increasing the capacity for us to dig deeper into helping in more integrated ways than ever before. And I want to put context on that. I started in this field 4 decades ago. So I have a fairly good lens on how things have evolved over time. And the one thing that we've gotten right from the beginning is it was a necessary to make wellness and well-being intricate and integrated and a cornerstone of what makes a great organization to perform at its highest levels. So whatever the programs are that people are doing, they're making sense. The right kinds of things are being offered in many different layers, whether it's to do with physical health or emotional or aligning values or financial well-being at all. We know all the life matters that need to be addressed to help somebody have the foundation, the capacity, and the ability to give their discretionary effort every day. Where I think we can gain more leverage, if you
Right.
will, or be understood as more valuable, is in being able to translate that to triple and quadruple bottom lines. And
Yes.
we're going to talk a little bit about that, I know, in our series.
in the
But I
program.
want to
Yeah.
make a point about that just from the context that what you're doing can have way more impact if you open up your lens to start seeing the impact of your work on four basic levels: the person, and even more than four is actually when you start thinking about family and home life. But as it pertains to work, how are we helping people be able to translate that effectiveness that we help them with become a team member in a very high functioning team, to be able to be an asset in this discretionary effort way for a leader who is being given responsibilities from the highest levels of the organization to be able to create the performance, profit, meaning, and brand for the organization.
Right.
So the essence of what I'm trying to say is what we're doing is great, but you have a much larger canvas to work with
Right.
that can increase your value to the organization, in my mind, tenfold.
So you do a lot of work and have and continue to with, very prominent organizations in the Silicon Valley. And, I've asked your
Yeah.
permission so I can mention this, like the Apples and the Oracles of the world, organizations you've worked with and what you know about this industry. Again, if you had to really, for the purposes of this short video series, and we'll get more into it in our executive program, what
Mhm.
would you say is something that, one key area they could optimize or really focus on to really enhance
Sure.
what they're doing?
I've been thinking about this a lot. And I want to put context to my career.
Right.
When I say I'm in this field, I've been representing the values of what we do, but in very different ways than perhaps people who are listening
Right.
would reference me.
And that's why I
So,
brought you into the
yeah.
program.
I've been working in leadership and management development and cultural design and things of that nature for 3 decades. I
Right.
worked a decade dedicated specifically in the wellness and well-being space. But I've been integrating the basics of all the things we talked about just earlier,
Hmm.
great things we do, integrated into the leadership development, executive coaching work I've done, and the cultural design that I've done
Right.
as a cornerstone. And to be very honest with you, the momentum for that kind of skill is increasing, which is
Mhm.
why we're doing this program,
Right.
is because there's a tremendous career arc for people in this business if they start to think slightly differently about what they do
Hmm.
and think more strategically on a regular basis about influencing and executing the best of what you do across the organization for multiple bottom lines. We have to think strategically, critically, and most importantly, influence and engage in partnerships that help us architect what it will be in the end, which
Yeah.
is high performing individuals who get themselves invested in a team that's led by a leader who cares about people's well being. The team supports each other. A demand comes from the organization, and that group is enabled and has the capacity to translate what you've helped them do into the high performance behavior that organization is paying them for.
Right. It's really a niche area that our program is a first of its kind in many regards, but it's especially in this regard. And thanks to your involvement now. And, one last thing that we often talk about, you and I, is that as HR, as people leaders, workplace wellness, it's really
Yeah,
important that we have that radical curiosity about us, right?
absolutely.
If we stay the course and if we don't pivot or make some, what I would say, almost maybe some cases, radical changes in our approach in workplace wellness and our delivery, our strategic planning, everything we talked about, what's the fate of workplace wellness as we know it? Do you think?
I, I think it's going to lose its relevance as a value add partner. And if you're busy doing lots of things versus thinking strategically and finding time to do that and taking the steps to increase your value through partnerships and collaborative advantage, we missed the boat.
Oh, yes, thanks for tuning in to this segment. And again, to learn more about our upcoming Executive Wellness Leadership Program that's commencing on February 26th with Mark and myself, and how you can become shortlisted and a candidate for the programs. We only have 20 spaces. Please visit our program page at workplacewellnesscoe.com and sign up for our program interest list to receive an invitation to a discovery consult. And so we really look forward to meeting you, perhaps in a consult, maybe in our programs. And until we meet again, stay healthy and well. Thanks, Mark. Bye for now.